McCarthy's office. Unfortunately, we are unable to answer because of our other busy lines. If you'd like to leave a message, please do so along with your contact information after the beep. Thank you.
How you doing, Kevin McCarthy? My name is Romero Latorre Jr. I'm very disappointed in you, groveling 15 times at the feet of Matt Gaetz. Now, I think you should know that leaders around the world are concerned with Trump fascism. And behind closed doors, for you to give a chair for Matt Gaetz at the Foreign Intel Committee, Services Arms Committees, you gotta understand, Matt Gaetz travels to Mar-a-Lago and bleeds intel to Trump. And since Trump is under the scrutiny of the FBI investigating the intel papers at Mar-a-Lago and at Trump's residence,
there's 10 seconds of recording time left.
I think you should know that you should stare away from Trump as fast as you can. And Matt Gaetz...
To send your message, press 1. To send your message as urgent, press 2. To re-record your message, press 3. To review your message, press 4. To append to your message, press 5. To transfer to the operator, press 0. To cancel this message and exit, press star. Sorry, I didn't get that. Please try again. To send your message, press 1. To send your message as urgent, press 2. Thanks. Your message was sent. Thanks for calling. Goodbye.
Congressman Kevin McCarthy's office. Unfortunately, we are unable to answer because of our other busy lines. If you'd like to leave a message, please do so along with your contact information after the beep. Thank you.
My name is Romero Latorre Jr. Kevin McCarthy, the FBI is looking into the breach of classified papers that are still ongoing at Mar-a-Lago under the scrutiny of the investigator that was appointed by Justice Garland. I will pay attention to Matt Gaetz before you grovel at his feet when it comes to the Services Arms Committee and the Intel Committee. He's still leaking intel to Trump, classified papers that you will be overseeing behind closed-door committee hearings. We're investigating Matt Gaetz for being a spy on behalf of Trump and leaking out classified, high compartmentalized, top-secret archives in those committee hearings to Mar-a-Lago.
There's 10 seconds of recording time left.
It's a shame that you groveled at his feet 15 times.
To send your message, press 1. To send your message as urgent, press 2. To re-record, thanks. Your message was sent. Thanks for calling. Goodbye.
I instructed the CIA and the FBI to look into Matt Gaetz leaking intel classified papers of Services Arms Committees and Intel Committee. Matt Gaetz reminds me of Congressman Nunes. He's quick to run to Mar-a-Lago and disclose high compartmentalized intel to Trump at Mar-a-Lago, because Matt Gaetz still believes that Trump is the president of the United States. He believes that there's two White Houses at the same time, and that somehow Trump Mar-a-Lago is the second White House of this government. And so it's critical that the United Nations leaders look into the fascism of Trump, because this high compartmentalized intel papers have to do with my archives, my intels, my technologies. And Trump is a clear and present danger not only to the American Union with his fascism or demagoguery, but he's also a danger to the European Union. He endangers my life. He bleeds intel recklessly. You know, Trump said, why don't we attack Russia with nuclear weapons and make pretend that the Chinese ships did them with flags on them? In other words, Trump wanted to launch a nuclear missile into Russia and then make pretend that it was Chinese ships that did it. In other words, Trump was insisting that his Pentagon generals launch a nuclear missile into Russia and then pretend it came from Chinese warships to do ships and put Chinese flags on them and make it seem like the nuclear attack came from China. That's what Trump instructed his military generals to do. And then Trump insisted that we fire a nuclear missile into North Korea and then deny that it came from us. Trump is a juvenile personality. He believed that we should nuke a hurricane to disperse it. Like that won't rain down radiation, raindrops, when it comes to contaminated H2O in the atmosphere. But that's how juvenile this brat that resides at Mar-a-Lago, that believes that there's two White Houses at the same time. And he uses people like Congressman Nunes. When Congressman Nunes was in charge of the intel committees investigating the Russian collusion between Trump and Russia, I was informing all the members of the committee on intel of the corruption of the fossil fuel interest deals between Rex Tillerson, Exxon board members, and Trump in the Russian Arctic. And it was Nunes that ran to the White House when Trump was president. He was having a pizza party at the White House. And Nunes, Congressman Nunes, sharing that committee, co-chair, he ran and spilled all the intel to Trump. And Trump appointed Bill Barr, Rosenstein, Whitaker to vet out the Mueller report when it came to the Russian investigation, to tie Robert Mueller's hands behind his back with all of Trump's obstructionist criminal behavior. So in congratulating Congressman Nunes, Trump awarded him CEO position at his Truth Network, because Trump has a social media platform named Truth Network or Truth. So now Congressman Nunes is in charge as CEO of Trump's social media outlet. And so Matt Gaetz is picking off where Nunes left off in the Services Arms Committee and the Intel Committee. Behind closed doors, Nunes is bleeding intel off the FBI, off the Pentagon, off the CIA, and he travels through Mar-a-Lago and speaks to Trump and bleed intel to Trump, while Trump is living as a citizen in Mar-a-Lago. So Matt Gaetz is a mole, just like Nunes. Congressman Nunes was a mole. They were espionaging evidence and aiding and abiding Trump in an abuse of public office. And now Trump is a regular citizen in Mar-a-Lago in Florida, thinking that he's still the president. And he's constantly in communications with Congressman Matt Gaetz, Margie Taylor Greene, and Congresswoman Goldberg. So between these three ringleaders, because Trump, he has leaders concerned not only in America but in the European Union. Because if I'm the only one that offers the world a nuclear umbrella, for Trump to endanger my life, to recklessly sit in Mar-a-Lago and espionage intel from committee hearings and thinking that he's still the president as he commits government espionage with high compartmentalized government top secret archives. So Justice Garland appointed a special counsel to investigate Trump. And he has experience as a war crimes lawyer at The Hague. He has experience as a lawyer prosecuting corrupt officials at The Hague. Now, if for whatever reason Matt Gaetz endangers the national security of this nation and the national security of the European Union, as well as all nations on earth that will rely on my nuclear umbrella to shield all nations from nuclear destruction, I don't got time for people and imbeciles like Matt Gaetz thinking that there's two presidents in this country. The difference between Biden, he was duly elected by 7 million American citizens. The difference between Trump, he's a drifter, a con artist, a weasel, a Rockefeller snake oil reincarnated. If Rockefeller's father was reincarnated, he will come back for a second time as Trump, as a venomous drifter. Now, while Trump has to offer the world NFT cards of himself, 14 years of reruns printed on Blu-ray DVDs, while he has cheap silk imitation ties, while he has rotten Trump steaks, stale Trump bottled water, trinkets compared to what I offer these nations around the world. Don't never compare what I put on the table for these leaders' consideration to defend all nations from nuclear destruction. Don't never compare this drifter you call Trump and with his trinkets. Don't never compare him with me. Because while he put these trinkets on these leaders' tables, and while these leaders have to think about the real issues of the world, I care not to think what they think of Trump trinkets as a drifter at Mar-a-Lago. Now, to me, defending the world from nuclear destruction is my number one priority. Defending all nations from nuclear destruction, shielding all nations from harm's way is my number one priority. And if Congressman Matt Gaetz was appointed because McCarthy had to grovel at his feet 15 times, and if Matt Gaetz is bleeding intel because he still thinks that Trump is his president, at the end of the day, I'm not a drifter selling trinkets. I'm not a drifter when it deals with these unions of America and the European Union and to safeguard all nations from nuclear destruction, without no discrimination to shield all nations from harm's way. When Trump endangers what I put on the table for all leaders around the world, and all he has to do is to substitute it with trinkets of NFT cards of himself, invite people to Mar-a-Lago to eat rotten Trump steaks, stale bottled Trump water, autographed signatures of 14 Years of The Apprentice on Blu-ray DVD. Or he even might have Glendale sitting by his side, willing to throw pillows if you buy his Trump infomercial, 14 Years of The Apprentice on Blu-ray. Who knows? If you buy it with a limited time offer infomercial, Glendale might throw in a free pillow. But at the end of the day, I don't think these leaders are entertained with his drifter attitude or his trinkets compared to the grand scheme of safeguarding all nations from harm's way. I don't care to think what these leaders think about him and his drifter ways with his trinkets. Don't ever compare what I do for a living with Trumpery, because Trump is full of it. At the end of the day, I instructed the CIA, the FBI, and the Justice Department to look into these issues. So if Matt Gaetz is repeating what Congressman Nunes did, I fear to think of Trump endangering not only my life, but the national security of all nations internationally when it comes to saving all nations from harm's way. I'm offering the world a nuclear umbrella. That's why I'm negotiating directly with the Secretary General Antonio Guterres from the United Nations on this issue. I don't think, if y'all remember how Trump got laughed off the National United Nations Assembly floor when he said he was the most important president in American history, better than Washington, better than Lincoln. He thought he was the best president in American history, and they laughed him off the floor like a stupid leader that he is. At the end of the day, this situation is out of control with Trump, and it has to be reined in. And if Trump endangers all nations from harm's way, if he puts them in harm's way, if for whatever reason he complicates the situation of all these nations defending themselves from nuclear attacks, if he undermines this nuclear umbrella for all nations on Earth, Justice Garland and the lawyer that he chooses for The Hague will be a perfect venue to try Trump. Don't ever let this drifter cross me in the wrong way.